Wuthering Heights, 1847, Emily Bronte's only novel, is a dark, intense tale of passion, revenge, and the destructive power of love. Set in the isolated Yorkshire moors, the novel spans two generations of the Earnshaw and Linton families and centers around the tempestuous love affair between Heathcliff, a foundling raised by the Earnshaws, and Catherine Earnshaw. The novel explores themes such as obsession, social class, and the cyclical nature of abuse and revenge, while also challenging Victorian notions of morality and relationships. Bronte's novel defies traditional narrative structure and morality, creating a complex, layered story of love and hate, where the line between hero and villain is blurred. Wuthering Heights is a highly emotional, atmospheric novel that challenges the conventions of its time with its portrayal of raw human emotions and the darker sides of love and relationships. The introduction. The story begins with Mr. Lockwood, the new tenant at Thrushcross Grange, narrating his experiences when he visits Wuthering Heights, a nearby manor. Lockwood is initially intrigued by his landlord, the brooding and mysterious Heathcliff, and becomes curious about the strange atmosphere of Wuthering Heights and its inhabitants, including Heathcliff's daughter-in-law Catherine Linton and Hareton Earnshaw. The house has a dark, gloomy air, and the relationships between the residents are cold and hostile. Lockwood's curiosity grows, and after becoming ill, he convinces his housekeeper, Nellie Dean, to tell him the history of Wuthering Heights and its inhabitants. Nellie, who has served both the Earnshaw and Linton families for years, becomes the primary narrator of the story, recounting the events that led to the current state of Wuthering Heights. The arrival of Heathcliff. Nellie begins by telling the story of Heathcliff's arrival at Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff, a dark-skinned orphan, was brought to the manor as a child by Mr. Earnshaw, the owner of Wuthering Heights, after a trip to Liverpool. Mr. Earnshaw adopts Heathcliff and raises him as his own child, much to the resentment of his biological son, Hindley. However, Mr. Earnshaw's daughter, Catherine, quickly forms a close bond with Heathcliff, and the two become inseparable. As they grow up, Heathcliff and Catherine develop a passionate and all-consuming love for each other. But their relationship is complicated by social class and familial dynamics. When Mr. Earnshaw dies, Hindley becomes the master of Wuthering Heights and treats Heathcliff cruelly, reducing him to the status of a servant. Despite this, Heathcliff and Catherine continue to share an intense emotional connection. Catherine's betrayal. Catherine's love for Heathcliff is undeniable, but she is also drawn to the more refined life of the Lintons, the wealthy family that lives at Thrushcross Grange. After spending time with Edgar Linton, Catherine begins to see a future for herself as the mistress of a grand home, with all the social privileges that come with it. Although she admits to Nellie that Heathcliff is her sole mate, she believes that marrying him would degrade her socially. Instead, she chooses to marry Edgar, believing that it will elevate her status and secure her place in society. Heathcliff overhears part of this conversation but misunderstands Catherine's intentions, leading him to believe that she has completely rejected him. Heartbroken and furious, he leaves Wuthering Heights, disappearing for several years. During his absence, Catherine marries Edgar and settles into life at Thrushcross Grange, though she remains emotionally attached to Heathcliff. Heathcliff's return and revenge. Heathcliff eventually returns to Wuthering Heights, now a wealthy and powerful man determined to seek revenge on those who wronged him. His first target is Hindley, who has descended into alcoholism and gambling after the death of his wife. Heathcliff begins to lend Hindley money, knowing that it will eventually lead to Hindley's financial ruin. Heathcliff gains control of Wuthering Heights and reduces Hindley's son, Hareton, to the same position of servitude that Heathcliff once endured. Heathcliff's obsession with revenge extends beyond Hindley. He also seeks to destroy the lives of Edgar and Catherine. Though Catherine is now married to Edgar, her love for Heathcliff never fades, and his return throws her into emotional turmoil. The tension between Heathcliff and Edgar intensifies, and Catherine's mental and physical health begins to deteriorate. She becomes gravely ill after a heated argument between the two men and gives birth to a daughter, also named Catherine, before dying. Catherine's death leaves Heathcliff devastated, but his desire for revenge remains strong. He turns his attention to Edgar's sister, Isabella, whom he marries out of spite, not love. Heathcliff treats Isabella cruelly, using her as a pawn in his ongoing feud with Edgar. Eventually, Isabella escapes to the south of England, where she gives birth to Heathcliff's son, Linton. Heathcliff's treatment of Isabella and Linton underscores his transformation into a bitter, vengeful man, consumed by the need to destroy those he perceives as his enemies. The next generation. After Catherine's death, the focus of the novel shifts to the next generation, the children of the Earnshaws, Lintons, and Heathcliff. Young Catherine, the daughter of Edgar and the elder Catherine, grows up at Thrushcross Grange, sheltered from the darkness of Wuthering Heights. However, her life becomes intertwined with Wuthering Heights when Heathcliff schemes to unite his son Linton with Catherine in order to gain control of Thrushcross Grange. Heathcliff forces young Catherine to marry Linton, despite their lack of affection for one another, furthering his plans to destroy the Linton family. After Linton's death, Heathcliff gains control of both Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. Catherine is left in a loveless, isolated existence at Wuthering Heights, where she develops a tense relationship with Hareton, Hindley's son. Despite their difficult circumstances, Catherine and Hareton eventually form a bond, finding solace in each other's company. Their relationship serves as a counterpoint to the destructive love between Heathcliff and the elder Catherine. Through their growing affection, the novel suggests the possibility of redemption and healing, even in the face of overwhelming pain and loss. Heathcliff's decline and death. As Heathcliff's plans for revenge come to fruition, he becomes increasingly disillusioned and haunted by memories of the elder Catherine. He confesses to Nellie that he is tormented by her ghost and that he longs to be reunited with her in death. His obsession with Catherine consumes him, and he loses interest in his revenge, abandoning his cruel treatment of Hareton and young Catherine. Heathcliff's physical and mental state deteriorates rapidly, and he begins to withdraw from the world. He spends his final days wandering the moors, consumed by thoughts of Catherine. In the end, Heathcliff dies under mysterious circumstances, his body found near the window where he had once longed for Catherine. His death is marked by an eerie sense of peace, as if he has finally achieved the reunion with Catherine that he so desperately desired. The novel ends with the marriage of Hareton and young Catherine, symbolizing the end of the cycle of revenge and hatred that had dominated the lives of their families. Their union suggests the possibility of a new beginning, free from the destructive passions that had consumed their parents. Themes and motifs, love and passion. The most central theme of Wuthering Heights is the intense, destructive love between Heathcliff and Catherine. Their relationship defies conventional morality and social norms, as it is marked by obsession, jealousy, and violence. Brontë portrays love as a powerful, elemental force that can both elevate and destroy those who experience it. Heathcliff and Catherine's love is so consuming that it transcends death, with Heathcliff longing to be reunited with her even in the afterlife. However, the novel also explores the more positive aspects of love through the relationship between young Catherine and Hareton. Their love, though initially marred by resentment and social barriers, ultimately becomes a source of healing and redemption. Brontë suggests that while love can be destructive, it also has the power to transcend suffering and bring about renewal. Revenge and cycles of violence. Revenge is a driving force in the novel, particularly for Heathcliff. His desire to avenge the wrongs he suffered at the hands of Hindley, Edgar, and society at large consumes him and shapes his every action. His need for vengeance leads to the downfall of multiple characters, including Hindley, Isabella, and even his own son, Linton. Brontë portrays revenge as a corrosive force that ultimately destroys both the avenger and those around him. The cyclical nature of violence is also evident in the novel. As the children of the first generation, young Catherine, Hareton, and Linton inherit the consequences of their parents' actions. The cycle of hatred and cruelty threatens to repeat itself, but Brontë offers a glimmer of hope in the form of Catherine and Hareton's eventual reconciliation, suggesting that the cycle can be broken. Social class and inequality. Social class plays a significant role in shaping the characters' relationships and choices. Heathcliff's lower-class status is a major obstacle in his relationship with Catherine, as she feels that marrying him would lower her social standing. Throughout the novel, characters are acutely aware of their place in society, and their actions are often motivated by a desire to improve their social position. Brontë critiques the rigid class system of Victorian England, showing how it reinforces divisions and perpetuates cycles of cruelty and oppression. Nature and the supernatural. The wild, untamed landscape of the Yorkshire moors serves as a fitting backdrop for the passionate and often violent emotions of the characters. Brontë uses nature to reflect the inner lives of her characters, with the stormy, windswept moors mirroring the tumultuous emotions that drive the story. The supernatural also plays a role in the novel, with Heathcliff and others claiming to see the ghost of the elder Catherine. The presence of the supernatural reinforces the idea that Heathcliff and Catherine's love is otherworldly and eternal, transcending the boundaries of life and death. Conclusion: Wuthering Heights is a powerful, haunting exploration of love, revenge, and the darker sides of human nature. Bronte's complex characters and unconventional narrative structure challenge traditional notions of morality and relationships, creating a novel that continues to captivate readers with its emotional intensity and psychological depth. Through the tragic story of Heathcliff and Catherine, Brontë explores the destructive power of obsession and the possibility of redemption through love. Ultimately, Wuthering Heights is a timeless work that resonates with readers because of its raw portrayal of the complexities of human emotions and the enduring nature of love and suffering. Created for Squeeze That Book channel, please subscribe to follow new videos and leave a comment with your thoughts about the book.